So as part of 16 Days of Activism, we'll explore the role of gendered social media abuse and cyberbullying, as in particular pertaining to women. So according to online research, or research itself, online abuse communicated via social media sites has increased considerably, and in particular, if we look at the targets being women. So it's even more for female journalists. So I want to explore this just a little bit, with Bridget Machuda, who is a social media analyst. Bridget, thank you so much for joining us. And we're just chatting off air and talking about how rife this is. And I don't just want to make this about female journalists, but if we're looking at the percentage, was it 49% of female or women journalists, experiencing online abuse through hateful language? That's a significant figure.
It is indeed. Yeah.
But I want to talk about the overall picture because some of us have already been targets of this kind of abuse.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me, Griselda. Unfortunately, the numbers overall are very bleak, especially on a global scale. Yeah. Women are known and prone to be abused to an extent of them being made to be afraid, So some of them, those cases are not even reported because these women fear for their lives. Not just reporters, but your everyday woman that is being bullied on social media because she doesn't want to date a certain man or she doesn't want to do unexplainable things, that cannot be mentioned on air just to get ahead, So a lot of these things, and especially if there's no proof, there's no evidence, nothing is recorded, it's very difficult to actually give the exact number. But more and more cases are coming out.
Yeah. The reporting of gender-based violence is still an issue. So I would imagine perhaps even more so when it comes to having experienced online abuse. What are we looking at in terms of reportage on that?
So essentially, especially if a woman journalist, female journalist, is working on a very sensitive case, her life will get threatened because she's got sensitive information that will expose an entire network of crooks, and it goes very deep. So it's very important for precautions to be taken, especially by journalists or any other woman, to use encrypted social media platforms such as WhatsApp, for example, and to also not check in locations, to not...
I was going to ask about that.
Yes.
I've picked up, in particular when it comes to the use of social media, wherever you are, you check in.
Yes.
Everyone knows what you're doing at that exact time. I was actually saying to you, I don't post stuff in real time if it is not work-related, right? During the festive season, everybody wants to post about how happy they are about being home, how happy they are to be with family. But there are also risks associated with telling the entire world where you are, what you're doing at that particular time. That is the reality.
Especially with children, Griselda. Now, parents are very excited. Of course, it's a good thing that your child did phenomenally well. Your child has got all of these awards and achievements, and you are such a proud parent. But you need to keep that to yourself, because then the parents post the child in the uniform. Now, the thieves who are also on social media know the school your child is at, the grade, everything is there on the certificate, the name of the teacher, and they know the school times. Because it's not just innocent people that are online that are using it for good. There's also the thieves, there's also the murderers, there's also the ritualists, especially in this festive season. They need to So it's like the parents are giving them free information to say, come take my child.
This is incredibly scary because this could be such a great platform to promote all sorts of things,
Exactly, yes.
But obviously there's always a downside to something that has been put out there for good use. But obviously then that means there needs to be the development and implementation, of online platforms to report gender-based violence. Those are equally important, or whether it is cyberbullying for that matter.
Yes.
The very same platform that is used to do wrong could otherwise be utilized. There could be platforms or even strategies developed online in order to deal with could I call it a scourge?
This is true. This is true, Griselda. And I think it goes with each person, right? Oversharing is a big, big problem.
Yes.
If you don't overshare, then there's nothing for anyone to attack you for, you know? So rather use limited images of yourself, rather use nature, rather use quotes, rather use scriptures, motivational content from other public figures. Don't let people know where you are. And also, if you're going to go on a date, let your friends know where you are at all times, who you're with. Take a picture of that person, even with Uber drivers, you know. Take a picture of the driver and their driver's license and the license plate, and let your people know that be on conversation with whoever's expecting you to arrive, you know. Don't go to public toilets alone, you know, because this cyberbullying is when people use information against you that you gave away free willingly. So it all starts and ends with you.
Absolutely. I mean, who's going to have access to you without you telling them where you are?
Yes.
What can we then do, you know, to address some of these challenges?
I think it's also very good for women to take self-defense classes, that if all else fails and you're in that flight
Okay, how am I going to
situation-
use those self-defense classes when somebody's cyberbullying me? So I guess maybe I should say, how can we protect ourselves from cyberbullying?
Yes. Cyberbullying, I think it also depends, because you can lock accounts now on Facebook.
Yes.
It's allowing you to choose which friends you accept. You know, don't allow strangers to become your friends. I mean, when it's open, like, and it's just random followers with you, for example, there will be people who don't agree with you. There will be people who hate you. You don't have to engage them, because remember, they also have freedom of speech. It's not as if you need to entertain such people. But when it comes to news, I absolutely love what you're currently doing. You remain professional, you deliver what you need to deliver, and that is it. Nobody knows what's your favorite color, for instance, or what makes you happy, you know, and how you can be controlled with that information. So I think people should be very, very careful with who they give access to. I never check my friend lists, friend requests on Facebook, because why? You know? So we need to put a limit. Social media has also come up with this thing where people think being famous, they have arrived. The more people you let in, the better. No, less is more. So keep it to a minimal.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much, Bridget. And I think it's a great conversation for us to have, in particular during this time where everyone posts everything, how happy they are, what they've achieved.
Yes.
Because, you know, everyone is just in that festive mood.
Yes.
So bringing about that caution for us, thank you very much for reminding us of those facts. Bridget Matuja, who's speaking to us about, Machuda, speaking to us about social media. And of course, what we all know, but I guess we do need that reminder every now and again about what we post on social media, the threats, of course, of cyberbullying that we've seen, speaking about the increase in cyberbullying when it comes to females in particular, attacks on them. If we look at the percentages or statistics relating to female journalists, for example, 49% of women journalists having experienced some kind of online abuse. So just to be careful as you post on social media this festive season as well.